ministers, want to talk to you about the conference that I have coming up on April 1st, 2nd, and 3rd in Broken Arrow, Oklahoma. I'll be speaking. Dwayne Sheriff is going to be speaking. Also with me will be Robb, my son. And as you remember, I've talked to you about it, that in 2013, I stepped down from the church and Robb took over. God laid him on my heart, and God had already spoken to him that he would be the pastor of the church. And so the transition has gone well, and God has just tremendously used the church. They've gone through their hardships like many other churches have, like when I was the pastor of the church, but God brought him through all of them as he brought me through all of them. And so he's doing such a great job now, but he has so much to share with ministers. And so, Robb, glad to have you here. Looking forward to the conference in April.
Me too.
Well, good. You know, share a few things about what's going on in your life or what you want to talk about at the conference or even an idea.
Sure. So as he mentioned, that was, 5.5 years ago that he stepped down. I became pastor. And yesterday, actually, in the office, we had an intern in our office. And so one of the questions that we dealt with was kind of directed towards this intern. What advice would you have for somebody, that is thinking about going into ministry? And I said, you have to know you're called. Because if you go into it thinking, well, you just work one day a week, that Sunday, and then the rest of the week you can just do whatever you want. Anybody that's been in ministry can probably tell you it's both the most rewarding thing as well as the hardest thing that probably they've ever done in their life. And so, as he said, we've had our many challenges, actually challenges 10 times harder than I thought we were going to walk through, but yet we've seen the faithfulness of God in all of it. We have faced financial hardship. We faced people leaving the church in anger, telling me that we're against God's will, all kinds of things. But at the same time, we've just seen God walk through it with us. I think, we've seen what David said about walking through the valley of the shadow of death. What we want is in the middle of that valley for God to just pluck us out, but God promises that He's with us, that His rod and His staff comfort us. And so, conferences like this, I think, can be a really good thing for ministers who are going through difficulties to just be able to kind of get away, be able to sit under some teaching rather than be the one who's constantly pouring out. So I'm looking forward to really good things.
Yeah. One thing I've seen in ministry, and I've traveled through so many churches today, and churches that are also taking and going from an older minister to a younger minister, transitioning to a new generation. And I see so many of the younger ministers saying the same thing, and that is we have so many ideas of things we want to see done. Things are being done today in other churches, and I say that's wonderful, but I really want to bring you around to one thing. Churches do not unite around what the church is going to do. They don't rally around youth departments. They rally around a person. And what happens is when Robb took over, it took people a while just to get to know him as a person, but those that know him are there loyally. And, I'm not going to heaven just because I got streets of gold. I'm going there because Jesus is there. That's the main reason. And the same thing has to be true around a church. And so what I've watched through this 5.5 years is people that were skeptical at first, and now they are so sold out because your vision has come through and your personality has come through. And really, Robb's much more transparent than I was. I mean, some of the things he says to the pulpit, I go, I'm not sure I would share that. But the people just love it. So, again, differences in personality. And I sit here listening to him talk about people that have griped and complained, and this church is going nowhere. And I'm thinking, that's the son of the one that told me the same thing, because the generations really, it just comes back to the same thing. And to be honest with you, really, pastoring is not just an occupation. It's not something you choose because you go, well, I think I could do this, or these list of things I can do that. It takes a real call of God, because when you run across those really intensely hard times, you have to look back at it. No, God put me here, so God's going to take care of me.
Yep.
Yeah. So anyway, looking forward to a great conference. And so you that are listening out there, you're hearing what Robb has to say, we probably just gained an attendance of about 100% right there. Because all of you guys are out there going, ooh, somebody else is going to be honest about the ministry. Because we sometimes go in this whole pie in the sky and so wonderful, and this church has never made mistakes, and this pastor has never made mistakes. There's no such thing except for Jesus. And even people deserted him. So looking forward to seeing you at the conference. Again, that's April the 1st, 2nd, and 3rd. Robb, looking forward to it.
Me too.